Oh, no. Well, we're live.
Troy, I forgot my donuts.
Okay.
See, that means you gotta bring filled donuts next week. I'm just playing.
I'm learning more regulations.
Yeah, that's a new rule.
Okay,
That's a new rule. If you forget to bring donuts, you gotta bring the filled donuts next week.
Yeah, just let you know, we are streaming.
Okay.
He accidentally hit that.
Okay. Well, then everybody should know that rule then. If you forget to bring donuts, if your phone goes off, the next week you bring the cream filled donuts. Yep, it's
Just
double.
wanted, can you turn on the camera for the room that you're in? Turn on the video for the room.
That's it.
I think we all got the.
Oh, you all got the same stuff? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Thanks. I'm not hearing any sound. Is everybody muted? Did somebody switch the microphone off on the screen on the Zoom? Can you guys hear me?
He's gonna mute you for a minute, Lee.
I'm old enough to mute myself.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
File haven't signed the board about that.
Okay. Think I got the big group done before.
You did, you got, so thank you for doing that.
Yeah, appreciate it, you guys taking everything, so.
Well. That's fine. There was no bloodshed, so.
August.
Things get out of control when you're not here.
We don't fall. It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna call the meeting of the Codington County Commissioners to order on July 23rd, 2024. If you please rise, I'll have Commissioner Waterman lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Item 2 is a call for public comment. We have a section in the meeting for that. If someone would like to do that in person or use the telephone numbers of 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297. And if you have a cell phone, if you could please silence it. And if you need to take a call, we'd appreciate it if you do it in the hallway. Thank you. Item 3, is there any conflict of interest?
No.
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 Okay, item 4, we need a motion to approve the July
So
23rd.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable to approve the agenda for July 23rd, 24. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, we need a motion to approve the July 16th minutes of the Codington County
So moved.
Commissioners.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Is there any addition or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we need item number 6, action to approve plat resolution number 2024-15.
I believe Luke was going to be here, so I don't know if you're
Oh,
going.
he is
Here
right
is.
here as we speak.
Perfect timing.
better, huh?
It's to skip the step of sitting down and getting up.
Push a button and you're ready to roll.
I did not forget the first time I
You wanna
came up
turn
here.
your- There you go.
And Ken Larson gave me grief for still huffing and puffing when I came up the stairs because it's such a steep stairs. Are you ready for me?
Yeah.
All right. What we have is, good morning, commissioners. What we have is the Plat Doral, JAD edition in Government Lot 7. Yeah, I know it's JAD edition in Government Lot 7 and the northeast quarter of Section 16, Township 116, Range 51. If you don't have them memorized, that's Leola Township. And this is just on the north side of Punished Woman's Lake is where this is at. His property is being split, and I should note, one of the important things is that on that map, you can see that it shows up as orange in the area that is the Lake Park zoning district. So some of this is different than the other. So what you have going on here is they're splitting one 10-acre lot and then one 50-acre lot. And it is allowed to have a 10-acre lot and retain a building right because it is at least partially zoned Lake Park. We don't love having partial zoning like a split zoning. But in this case, he does not have impending plans to be building on that property. So what the planning commission recommended was to make it so that the area in orange is the only buildable part. Because again, if he only made that part a lot, he'd be allowed to do it. So basically what they've done is there is a letter of assurance that goes along with this that Mr. Durrell had just sent back. It's sitting at the county office. We received it yesterday, that he agrees that there will be no building permits outside of that orange area on the map, outside of the Lake Park, unless or until we'd rezone it. So point is recommended for approvals because he's done everything he needs to at this point. I just have to go get the piece of paper.
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Gable to approve this plat resolution. Any more questions?
I know when we reviewed this at the planning meeting, You know, you look at that orange and think it's a pretty narrow strip, but actually it's wider than it looks.
Yeah, it's 1,000 feet. I'm sorry, that's,
Yeah.
I should mention that. It goes 1,000 feet from the ordinary high water mark of the lake.
So you actually could build a house and
Mhm.
still be able to get in and out of the garage there.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot more room than it looks. That's a whole 40, or it's more than that. It's almost a full quarter there. So, the other thing that we did do, and just, I'll use this as a teaching moment, just because I can here, use it as a teaching moment at the planning commission as well. If you look at that map as Commissioner Gable's got up there on the Zoom, there's also a little bit of what I'm gonna call blue or purple on there. That is the floodplain that will be adopted eventually. However, right now, the current floodplain that is in play there is laughable. You can barely see it on this map, on that map, but it comes up somewhat, well, you can't say somewhat, arbitrarily, sorry
I looked at it.
to the folks. Yeah, you can kind of see it on the version that the commissioners have. There's a red line that is clearly just a buffer that follows the lake, that was drawn by somebody doing some work out in Denver 20 years ago. The thing is, there's a cliff that's about 15 to 20 feet high right on the edge of the lake there. So he's definitely 15 feet out of the floodplain, but we would have to regulate and restrict him and make him prove that he is, unless we adopt that sort of a change. So that's the sort of thing that why the floodplain is going to be there are parts of it that'll be a good deal to get changed. So just kind of want to give you a heads up when I come in with that. There's an example that you've seen. Thanks.
Luke,
Is there-
we did get it's, I think, it was there from the new floodplain map.
Yeah, even Samson.
We just received that today or whatever, but.
Let's
So
see where
it-
we are. Well, how about that? We'll be getting there soon, huh?
Yep.
Is there any more questions on this plat? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, it's just telling you that they're gonna give you, you have so many days to
Appeal.
adopt it. Yeah, we're right in that appeals period right now, so.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you, Luke.
You want me to do this now?
Yeah,
Okay.
we've been doing them.
All right, that sounds good. Let's switch gears. We'll talk budget here. Hopefully briefly. Sent this on to go over. As far as the budget that I have on here, and if you want me to go into it more in depth, I certainly can. But the bottom line is that from planning board wages and salaries, not anticipating any changes there. We've got 6 board members that are showing up to meetings and traveling. I usually plan, I mean, that 6,000 there, that's basically planning for the board to get there to 12 meetings. Generally speaking, sometimes we have less, sometimes we have more. And then travel down toward the bottom. Now that we're back up to 6 full members there, that number used to be, I mean, we're hitting up closer to what our projections are down there in 427. So bottom line is most everything remains the same, except for the portion that we had talked about last year, that we would be likely looking at an increase in fee for the planning and zoning to go up. That's probably a thing we're gonna do, not probably, we're planning on doing across the board for anybody that we're working with. $5, and it'd be basically a change up to there. It winds up being 33,000 for the year on that planning and zoning fee, as opposed to 30 is what it would be. And so in the end, that is the only change. There's a couple of things that get shifted around, but the bottom line is it just goes up. It goes up $3,000 for the year. It amounts to a 7% change from last year on that budget. Of course, I guess I've noted that before. We haven't done an increase since 2022. You figure that out, that's an annual increase of less than 3%, honestly, less than 2.5%. I did go back just for what it's worth. I've said this many times, the relationship we always hope works for the county. It works for us as well. This is really the only county that we can make it work to go sit physically in a chair, because otherwise the travel time kills both of us. So the bottom line is it works. Hopefully it continues to work. I went back though and looked, and we have averaged, since this project started 19 years ago, we've averaged about somewhere in that 2.5 to 2.7% annual increase, but we've been doing it stepping instead of a written in plan for just an annual increase. So we'll probably have to have a talk like that. I put in there that we'd probably expect an annual percentage increase, but the truth is, as I look at it, it just seems to be hitting that percentage either way. So we'll have a talk about that when it comes to be contract time, not this year even, but next year. So just for what it's worth. I don't know. The one other thing that I do want to make a note of on this budget, and it's something that you see more when you look at expended and requested there. You go, wow, you're not spending this one line or that one line. A couple of those specifically with mailings and publishing, we show it at 2,500. Some of those costs get carried down into that planning board and other current expenses. We only throw the line item for the first district dues, but some of those publishing costs do wind up going down into there. So that's why those ones don't match up when you get to the end of the year. So that's it. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, just a quick question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Luke, on 429, other current expenses, what's the bulk of that? I mean, it's more than kind of your consulting services in 422.
Oh, that's entirely the dues. That's the first district annual dues is what that is.
Okay.
So it goes into this section, this line item of the budget. So the actual service is in 33, but the first district dues that would be there regardless of us doing that job, that's what that line item is on 429.
Thanks.
Yep.
Anybody else have any other questions for Luke?
Nope. Thank you, Luke.
All right.
Nope.
Thanks, Luke.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Let's see. Come on up.
Ready for me?
Yep.
Morning, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Yeah,
Are you gonna do mail at the same?
I did not get the memo that it was budget time, so I didn't bring any of my budget stuff up. I'll have to
You know what we'll do in that
do that
case?
next week or the week
Wait a
after.
minute, we'll close the book then.
Yeah, I was gonna have
Get
it
it off
open
my
up and
desk.
ready for the next,
But that's okay. We'll have to get that on the 6th or something. Plus I got a meeting at 9:30 I gotta run to as well, so. All right, we'll get started with the commissary monthly balance sheet. That should be the first page there on your pamphlet. So the snapshot in time there, the bank balance end of June was $20,093.15. At that snapshot, there was $1,355.29 in the lobby and ATM booking kiosk for a grand total of $21,448.44. Again, at that same time, resident balances were $1,429.89. Commissary items and tax not dispersed was $3,095.53. Funds balance $16,923.02. Brings us back to that $21,448.44. If you go down to the bottom there, you'll see the commissary commission for June. We kind of broke it down into 3 different ways, so it's a little bit easier to see. Commissary commission made $1,086.98. Phone commission, we made $2,153.68. And on the kiosk commission there, we made $647.57 for a grand total of $3,888.23. That gets remitted to the general fund there. Monthly balance sheet on the next page there. Bank balance of $9,109.28 for the end of the month of June there. And if you jump down to the middle, you'll see copy fees collected of $22, sheriff's fees collected of $7,547.78, and warrant fees collected for $650 for a grand total of $8,219.78. And again, that money also gets returned back to the general fund. So if we jump to the next page there, we'll kind of go over some of the jail activity or the sheriff's office activity here first. In the month of June, they responded to 658 calls and cases for service. You can look back a year, that's about 107 more calls and cases that we've dealt with than a year ago at that same time. So it's definitely been a busy summer. Accident reports completed, there were 16. 68 warrants were served, 199 civil papers were served, and there was 4,831 transport miles that were transported in the month of June. And that was a total of 28 people that were transported for a total of 20 trips going all different directions. We jump down to the middle there, some jail activity. For the month of June, our average daily population was 57.9. You can see that jumped up a little bit from the last 5 months there. Our high ADP was 64, and that was on the 29th. Our low average daily population was 53 on the 1st. We're talking about 24/7 program on the Scram bracelet. We had 22 participants. On remote breath, we had 14 participants. We had 31 people on the twice daily PBTs, 42 people on the twice weekly UAs, and 1 person on the sweat patch for a grand total of 110 people on our 24/7 program. You can see the bookings were around 237, staying kind of in that same average, what we're typically seeing, a little bit higher than the last couple months, but.
Any particular thing that jumps out at you that we had a 10 head increase,
I
10
think
body count?
it just, the courts are kind of catching up a little bit here. It's been definitely a busier summer. A lot more things going on out there with, you can see the calls for service. There's 100 more calls for service for the month of June. So the guys have been busy, and that also kind of resonates with the police department, highway patrol. I mean, everybody's been kind of a busier summer. So more people coming through the system.
Thank you.
If you jump on down to the bottom there, keep on, there we go. On the out of county contracts, you can see we collected $6,700 on the work release fees, collected $2,180, and 24/7 fees. We collected $6,761.25, and scram fees, we collected $4,084. Any questions on that? We got a couple more topics here I wanted to just touch base on a little bit. Sheriff's Office is hosting National Night Out here for 2024. We kind of partnered with the local Fraternal Order of Police. They're going to be sponsoring, one of the big sponsors here. They are paying admission to the local zoo. So our National Night Out is going to be at the zoo this year, August 6th from 5 to 8. There'll be food, fun, law enforcement, search and rescue, fire department, all your first responders, all our partners that we work with closely are going to be there. So I'd like to urge everybody to come to the zoo on August 6th from 5 to 8. Should be a good time. We recently received a grant. We applied for a grant from the state for a leadership course that we're going to be hosting here in Watertown. It's a statewide grant that other agencies from around the state will be able to come down and be a part of. It's called Drive the Road Leadership Course. We're going to have some correctional officers and some deputies there, along with, we of course opened it up to the rest of all the other agencies in the state. That's something that we got through the law enforcement training grant that we had applied for. So that's October 29th and 30th. That's kind of exciting thing to be able to bring that to town here. So school resource officer, we've gotten our first 2 reimbursements for the 24-25 year school year. We're waiting for the third school to get us that one, but we're that's on its way, we're planning for beginning of the year here. And the last thing right now is 9:30, I have an election security tabletop that I'm actually gonna be talking and working with. And then when we're all done, we're gonna be meeting with Brenda here. That's one of the things that we kind of do every couple of years when we have elections is we discuss election security, how we can work with them, looking at the gaps in the process, if there's anything that we can be looking forward to do better, looking at the communication process, how we can deal with threats to the election process. We all know that times are changing, and those are things that we're constantly looking at and trying to stay ahead of. So that's something that we're looking at going forward here. So.
Thank you. Stay on top of that. As we noted this past weekend, security is pretty important.
Security is definitely important today, in today's world, so. That's all I have, I guess, if you have any questions.
No,
Thank you.
no,
Thank
Do,
you.
well,
do
thank
budget in
you.
a couple weeks then and August.
Yep,
No meeting next week?
no,
Okay.
no,
I'll
couple,
shoot for August 6th. then.
yep,
Have a good
thanks,
week.
you bet.
No emergency management.
I don't see,
No, no, he's not, sorry.
yeah,
Able to do those reports.
okay. Okay, let's move down to I haven't seen the other
It's all Rick.
entities here. But yeah, Rick, why don't you come up for all these big fun bridge applications?
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, these are bridge applications for the big program. And I'm not sure how you have them laid out in your packet. But bridge 15-170-144.
Yep.
That's on the top of the list. And that one is a 50% match to do the hydraulic study and get things ready. Because it doesn't score high enough to get a higher score because it scores 42 in the big program. And we need to get things going on that so we aren't caught behind the 8 ball to get it load rated, because I've told you guys before, we've got a lot of crappy bridges and they're all coming due at the same time. So we're gonna have to spend a little bit more money to get them ready so they can get processed sooner. Because like I said, it only scores 42 and we're behind our wheel tax. If it was at the max, we'd gain 6 points on that. And we are not at the max on our wheel tax. And this bridge is on Suconifer Road, 1 mile west of Watertown off Highway 20 and 1.5 miles north. The second bridge is 15-242-145.
We want to take these individually
Oh.
since they're
Oh,
all
do
action.
you?
Oh, we
okay.
do.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's all
okay,
right. I'll make
sorry.
a motion to approve the first action.
Okay,
on
motion
I'll
by
second.
Van Dusen, second by Gable to approve this bridge 15-170-144
resolution. Yeah.
resolution. Any more questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, number 2. This is on a township road. This is 1 mile north of town off Old 81 and 5 miles east. It's on Oak Street. And there's gravel pits over there. This one is 29% match. That's one of another one that needs work. So
What's the score on that?
the score on that is 41.8.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable,
I'll second it.
second by Johnson to approve this resolution on number 15-242-145. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I had a question on that one, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Commissioner
Just on
Gable.
on the scope of that, is that another just a study part or
Yes.
hydrologic study? Okay.
Yep.
Then I vote aye.
Okay, number 3. This one is 15-154-080.
Yep.
This is 1 mile. Make sure I'm in the right spot. From County Road 13, you go west 1 mile on County Road 6, and then 2 miles north and about a half mile back to the east or west on a township road. This one scores 41.6. This one is 20% match. And this bridge is already load rated for 20-ton single, 30-ton combination.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
I'll second.
second by Gable to approve this resolution for number 15-154-080. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay, number 4. This one is also on a township road. It scores 41.46. You go south of town on 81 to our County Road 20. You go 3.5 miles east and 1 mile south on 177th. This one is also load rated for 13-ton single, 22-ton combination. It's an old cement bridge on the Big Sioux River,
And what's the match on that one?
and the match was 20%.
What percent? Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
second by Gable to approve the resolution for Bridge ID 15-215-230. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rick.
Thanks.
When we get back. Letter of award.
And these need to get signed and emailed.
Okay, number 13, action to advertise or hire full-time correctional officer to fill a vacancy.
Move to approve.
No, I'll second.
Okay, motion by Van Dusen, second by Gable to advertise and hire for a full-time correctional officer. Is there any more questions?
We should have caught up with Brad while he was still here. Did someone quit?
Yes, someone left, so now they need to fill that.
It's an existing
Okay.
position.
All right, very good.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, item 14, action to approve fireworks show permit.
Okay,
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson,
I'll second.
okay.
second by Gable.
So I can give you a little information. Marty Birch is one who has submitted this. I did let him know, obviously, if you guys do approve this, that it is also based on if there would have to be a burn ban in place at that time, and he understands that. He has also worked with his neighbors to the south who have livestock. And if it is approved, he will work together with them to make sure they're secured when that happens. And so everything sounds like he's doing things the right way.
If my memory serves me right, he has done this before.
Yep.
So,
And just for information, it's going to be on July 25th at 10 o'clock at night,
Yes,
15 to 30 minutes.
birthday celebration.
Yep. Okay.
okay,
Coming right up.
Yes. Any more questions? Comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item 15, we will not be meeting on July 30th. That's the 5th Tuesday. Item 16.
Nothing for 16, nothing for 17, nothing for 18.
moving right along here.
Item 19, personnel changes.
Right, so most of those that are in your packet are the annual step increases. I only have one here for Christina Solom, who it will be effective, well, was effective 7/1 of 2024. She is moving from administrative support to administrative specialist, step 1, 22.56 an hour. So this is a change of position and pay grade to reflect job duties and performance.
Move to approve.
Motion by Johnson,
So
Second.
how do you want to do all these steps? I mean, just as
Read.
submitted like we did last time, we have from facilities to community services and highway are the bulk of those. Okay,
So we're-
motion by Johnson. Oh,
We're not doing this
motion
one.
by Johnson,
separately?
second by Gable.
okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Gable.
Okay, so we're doing them all together, correct? I'm fine either way. Just to
Yes.
make sure.
I just wanted to point out the one that was not an annual step increase. All the rest are step increases.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Travel requests.
You have one of those for extension, set up 4-H booths. You have all the other information, dates, arrival times in your packet.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen,
Second.
second by Johnson. Any further comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Number 21, now is time, or no, public notices. Yeah. Possible quorum of commissioners.
The Sioux Valley Commission meeting will be coming up. That's in August. And it is actually here in Codington County. I don't have the date off the top of my head right now.
I think it's the
I'll go grab it.
14th. I wanna
Okay,
say
yeah.
the 14th.
It's the second Wednesday or whatever.
The
So
first
August
district
14th.
annual picnic is on Friday, August 2nd too.
Okay.
So
Which one is that?
First
First
district,
district.
their annual picnic.
I'll get those listed on.
Yeah, because we have 2 weeks here that we gotta
Yeah.
account for.
Yep.
Also coming up, probably doesn't affect, but you might show up there. It's 4-H achievement days,
Oh, that's,
and I'll be judging in Cottington County on the 29th and Hamlin County on the 6th, the way it looks. So come out and
enough,
support those kids.
because the barbecue is on the evening of the
It must be
Thir-
the 29th.
31st.
31st.
So Wednesday.
Yep.
Any other possible times? Okay. Number 22, is there any old business? Item 23, is there any new business? Seeing none, we'll move to the open. It is now time for public comment.
You do have an individual here who would like to just come up and briefly speak to you during the open.
All right,
Good morning.
come on up.
Alright, good morning.
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 Ken Rowe, I'm your District 4 elected representative.
Yeah, just come up,
So,
have a chair and
have a chair. Alright.
stay, yeah,
And I think is a.
It's on.
yeah, it's on.
It's
Yeah, talking to the mic. Introduce yourself so the world.
I can
knows
do
who
that.
you are, yeah.
All right, I'm Kent Rowe. I'm the elected Republican primary winner in District 4. A lot of Codington County is in District 4, so I thought I'd better get over and introduce myself. See if you had any questions for me. I've got a couple for you.
You have an opponent and
Not in the
General
general,
you don't.
not that I'm aware of. No,
So what's the deadline for that, for them?
Still, I'd have to go look at the calendar, August something they have to, I thought there were 2 Democratic opponents too, but maybe they pulled out already.
in District 5, I believe there is, I don't know so much about District 4. Okay,
Percent, I'd have to look.
all right.
So Kent, is it Rowe, R-O-E?
It
Is
is,
that right? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And I know there's a prohibition against campaigning in courthouses, so
Mhm.
anyways, I'm aware of that. I'm not here campaigning, I'm here as a interested citizen, so.
Okay.
I did bring along some contact information if anyone wants it.
And I do live in District 4.
All right, I think Randy Schwer does too. So. I think Charlie does too.
You?
All right,
And
But I
would
take
one
because
I find
it interesting reading. Thank you.
it's right close there on the,
that's interesting reading.
oh, okay.
What questions do you have for us, Mr. Rowe?
SB 201 is a hot topic. I'm just curious, in Codington County, does anyone know the participation rate of people approached for easements?
Do we know how many have been approached for easements?
Yes, and was there the participation, people that agreed to the easements? Any ideas on that?
You're referring to the pipeline easements,
I am.
and I don't think we have that information available.
Okay,
I don't know any percentages. I do know that that's changed since Big Stone is now linking up with Glacial Lakes. So there's a whole new pipe coming through Codington County, and I don't know any status of that. I just know that that's still an ongoing process.
okay, all right.
And I know it's a pretty controversial subject, and obviously it made it to the ballot this fall, and the people will get to vote, and
You bet.
we'll see how our democracy works. That's how it's supposed to work.
I would suggest talking to the developer if they would probably know.
Okay,
Because they're
Yeah,
the ones
I didn't know I didn't know what if the commissioners were aware of the participation in that process or not regarding the landowners and
If we'd have a better feel from them, is that what you're asking?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not fishing,
Yeah.
I'm curious more than anything.
If you're asking about the specific rate, then when, I think the last time the developer came in and wanted to talk to us, they said what the percentage was. It was more than half, but that could be a different, as things have changed, it's been quite a while, so I would recommend talking to them.
Okay. What can I do as your likely representative? Is there any concerns that you have as commissioners that you think perhaps I could hear about or participate in?
I'd be happy to talk to you sometime. Maybe this is not the place, but I think one thing counties have to deal with is when we have to build infrastructure, we have to ask voters for property tax. So that's kind of, and we don't have things like what a city has with a second penny sales tax where we can build a structure with an already identified and already present revenue stream. So we have to create a revenue stream whenever we have, we're having a discussion about jails. So that's a question that's been perennially, but I'd say for the past 5 to 6 sessions, actually since 2016, we've been talking about that with the legislature, and it's a tough conversation to have. So if you're interested, I can sit down with you sometime.
Sure, I
And discuss.
look forward to that. Be glad to.
Just keep the District 4 constituents in mind when you're voting. And if you vote wrong, we'll let you know.
That's why I came over here. So anyways, well, that's all I have. Thought I'd better check in, and
Thanks for coming up. Where do you actually live?
I live in the big town of Thomas.
Oh, you do in Thomas?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hammond County.
good.
So,
Well, good. And thank you
Yes.
for running.
Yeah, thank you for be willing to serve and keeping us informed. And if there's something that we need to be in contact with, we will.
yep, reach out anytime.
Yep.
So,
Thank
All
you.
right.
all right.
Coming.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ken.
Thank you.
August 6th is the last day for candidates to go to job.
Did you hear that, Ken?
August 6th.
August 6th.
All right.
That date's coming quickly.
Hey, is there any more public comments? Not seeing any commissioner comments. Okay, there is a need for executive session, and it's number one, discussion of personnel issues.
Move to exec session.
A motion by Johnson. Second by Van Duzen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I've got a couple of questions. These things with the bridges, is there additional to the ones that are already?
These are the bridges that are on the 5-year plan. They just have to resubmit every year.
Oh,
So
okay.
stuff like one of these I know was on last year for sure, and then they changed like that. We're going to do a 50% match trying to move it up.
Okay,
Trying to improve the score on them to,
Like a big grants and this.
right, right.
And imposing a
Okay.
full
Okay, got it.
road wheel tax won't work. We've tried it 2 or 3
Brad,
times.
Give me the address for this Marty Burgess.
Yes, I do have an address for you.
wasn't there a,
It's it on the.
Yeah, it's on the application.
It's application.
It is on the application, I think.
I didn't look at deeper.
Here, it's right here, Brenda, if you want.
17 31st Street.
Thank you very much.
You gonna go watch the display?
No, I don't think
You
so.
probably let you. It's good that that's the thing Myron always wants to know, have you worked with your neighbors and.
Yes, absolutely. The cattle and stuff, that's always a big concern with me. Horses and cattle,
Yep, they
Sheep.
spook easily. And the dogs.
cats, gerbils. guinea
Our old
pigs.
farm dogs used to go